I think it's important to understand the origin of the credit union because it might not have been that unique at the time, but it is a unique story today.
American One started out as a co-op, and the board members that were on when I came on board had experience with that co-op. The co-op provided a number of discounts and opportunities to the members of that co-op, and eventually that co-op became American One Credit Union.
Jackson Co-op was formed in 1950, and it was a response to the condition of our times after World War II. So people had a hard time finding things to buy, and so the co-op, a bunch of people got together to build the co-op that offered refrigerators and tires and just basic things that we take for granted.
As a matter of fact, I bought some snow tires there and appliances. You get appliances, refrigerators, stoves.
There were all these things that the co-op store had, and then there was the credit union that started out of Jackson Co-op Services. So it was this really huge thing that was an amazing help. And in the years not too long after World War II. So it's really cool how we started with that just basic human needs that were hard to get, including finances. So it's just a great heritage.
Most of the board members back at that time were from local trade unions, different companies, Goodyear, Tire, Kelsey Hayes, some of those plants that operated in Jackson. So these were guys that represented the working people. And again, that was something that attracted me to being involved with credit union.
Jerry Emmons was the chairman of the board at that time, and he said, "Jerry, I got some information," and he showed me a co-op original membership. I guess there was 13 or 14. I'm not sure remembering, but there was signatures, and my dad was one of them, and my uncle was one of them.
So the co-op started the credit union in 1951, and we had the numbers about 47 members and all that kind of thing. Everything was volunteer. Every function of the credit union was done by a volunteer, which is hard to imagine today because we have become so sophisticated. But what the purpose of the credit union was in those days was simply to lend to people that banks were unwilling to take a risk.
That's why we had the credit union, to serve those people. The wealthier people in the community had banks and financial advisors. Regular people couldn't afford that, but the credit union was able to provide financial services for them at no cost. Just because they were members, they could get financial education, they could get assistance in applying for loans and so on that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to get.
I think, the real growth in credit unions probably started in the 1980s, and that just so happens to be when I started with the credit union in 1984. And so, we were starting to look at offering ATMs and products like IRAs. Those were the days way before debit cards, but we did start a credit card program in the late 1980s. So it feels like the first few decades of the credit union's existence was pretty basic. It was run out of a shoebox and a bunch of people who just wanted to help people improve their lives through lending. And now we are this very sophisticated company that can do anything that a bank can do. And so that's quite a ride. The expansion into our branch network started happening in the 1980s. So we had a branch in Battle Creek, And then we started with adding more branches just in Jackson County itself and started building out that way. We understand that our niche is serving smaller communities that have been abandoned by banks, and so we look for opportunities where there is little or no service by other financial institutions. So that sort of has driven how we've built out our branch network. But the other thing that drives our branch network is our commitment to our members. And so we think about convenience and access. And even today, with all the digital opportunities that we have, people still need to come into a branch. And we think particularly in rural communities, people need a place to go and talk to someone face to face. When we're offering products like debit cards and credit cards and thinking about being someone's everyday personal banking experience, well, every day is every day, and things come up every day, and we want our members to have a place to come. As we started growing and wanting to be known, to our communities, specifically in Jackson County, we started on this endeavor of offering free events for families in Jackson County. And it's important to us because, there is a marketing component of that effort, and then there's a mission component. So the marketing component obviously is we want to be seen as a company that takes care of its community and wants to provide experiences for the whole family, and that is free for the family. Remember, we're serving working class people, and so we just want to make their lives better and brighter with an event or two throughout the year.
The community here in Jackson would be very surprised if they didn't see American One out in the community supporting several different events throughout the year. That's part of the reason why they love us. It's part of the reason why they're still members. They love the fact that we are out and we're supporting community members, we're supporting nonprofits. It's just a part of who we are.
We have always been generous to our communities, but we started taking a different approach to that. Back in the 1990s, we had the opportunity to be a major sponsor, actually the forming sponsor, of a really big event in Jackson. It was called the American One Grand Prix, and it was huge.
So the Junior Achievement Grand Prix was one of our first endeavors to offer a free event to the community and be a sponsor of a big event. And this started really our legacy of being the company that cares about the community and wants to really invest into an event that is free for families.
This event just blossomed overnight. We worked with the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, Bill Wilson and company, and it just lit the imagination of our community. We had at one point 84 different race teams participating. And this was an all-day event.
A lot of companies just fell in line behind us, and there were tons of sponsors. And the event benefited Junior Achievement, and it also benefited the Jackson County Literacy Council. So it benefited kids, and it benefited people who were adults who were learning to read for the first time. And we saw the impact that really large gift and that large sponsorship made on the community.
That was a great event. That really put us on the map as being involved in the entire Jackson community.
We did 3 Kids Fest events that started out as Kids Safety Day. We did 3 of those a year. We did 2 Women's Expos a year that had over 200 vendors at it at Parkside. We did a Pet Expo, we did a Soup Wars. A lot of these events were fundraisers for nonprofits.
Another event that American One initiated with the City of Jackson was called Eve on the Ave. And so this is another free event for the community that we partnered with the city on. New Year's Eve, fireworks in downtown Jackson. which was really amazing at the time. I mean, it was a beautiful event. There were street vendors and all this, and then we would have the ball drop from City Hall, and then we would have this fireworks show.
I have people ask me, because I was here a long time ago, like, when did we start doing car sales? And I had to give that some thought, and I'm pretty sure that it started after we used to participate with a lot of financial institutions, other credit unions mainly. Hertz, the rental car company, they'd bring in a whole fleet, and then financial institutions would all come together and we'd finance them. And we realized we could do this, and we could do this with local dealerships and have even a better experience for our members, because it would be local dealers that we would be partnering with. And so that's when our car sales started.
Starting in the marketing department, I had early exposure to what it takes to put together a car sale. And a lot of times before, I would just show up at a car sale and think, oh, they probably just throw this together. It takes so much work to put that together behind the scenes. And one of the best memories I have from a car sale is I was out walking the car sale lot, talking to members, and I had a member say to me, I love American One car sales. And I said, you do? That's great. And she said, it's like Disney World for car shoppers. And I was like, that's awesome. And that stuck with me. I think that was probably like 19 or 20 years ago, but I will never forget it.
We had some pretty crazy things at our car sales. We used to have like llamas and sheep and pony rides for the kids. I mean, we turned car sales into a family event.
We made a decision that we would become more intentional or more strategic about our giving, so that our impact in the communities could be even better than it was. And it's a beautiful thing that American One has continued, and we're really known for that now. We were always known for being generous, but we're known for being strategically generous so that more people can benefit from the giving that American One does. And it's just a fantastic thing. It is truly one of my favorite things about American One.
You see something almost every week where American One is assisting somebody in a program or is running their own program. They have basketball free throw shooting contests where the school gets financial contribution to help with materials that they need in the school. And we do that, credit union does that on a regular basis.
American One has always been really great at thinking about the community that they serve. I remember many conversations and being part of many conversations where it's always like, what does that community or our community need, and how can we fill that?
American One, you know, is really a great community partner, and they're out sponsoring and being present and recognizing the needs, especially the nonprofit organizations in our community. So it's really, I think we're all grateful to see that and feel the impact.
We've also been very active in the community philanthropically. Well, take a look at the Fair Events Center that we're at right now. I mean, this campus here, we participated in it, we're proud of it, and we do that so that Jackson has a place where they can hold convention or family get-togethers and, you know, have it right in the heart of Jackson. That's important to us as well.
So before I became CEO, our prior CEO, Dave Puckett, had started working with Jackson County on developing an event center. And we saw it as a need, just as a company we had less than 200 employees at that time, but still to find space where you could have an event and, you know, or a wedding or whatever. Those kinds of places there weren't a lot of them in Jackson. And so Dave saw this as a need, and he started working with Steve Shotwell with Jackson County on what would it look like for American One to partner with building an event center.
And the discussion was to put it somewhere outside the city limits, and Mr. Puckett really didn't think that was a good idea. And he and I sat down about 2009 and 10 and began formulating a plan to create the American One Center here on this piece of property at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. And the community center that we have here now was originally the American One Center, which was the old Rollatorium, which is to our south, and is now the American One Community Center that has a pickleball court in it and is used for different community gatherings in this neighborhood.
We have the event center, we have the recreation center. That was how we got into naming rights, and now we have quite a number of partnerships with different entities that our board is very carefully chooses who we partner with, because we want to make sure that our values are aligned. We want to make sure that it's beneficial for families and individuals in our community, and so it is quite a process when we make these decisions. But we found it to be a very effective way for American One to be known in the community.
The American One Credit Union has helped us with our restoration. We just are drawing to a close, a $6.2 million restoration. Within the confines of that restoration, American One has been a major contributor, and they helped us complete our full digital marquee. So without them, we couldn't be advertising and celebrating what we have to offer to the people of community. Consequently, because of that, American One's influence goes kind of beyond just the physical part of what they've done. They've been able to sort of branch out and involve the community across the board for all of our events that we hope to share the same kind of people.
I've been involved in major fundraising projects for particularly the Jackson School of the Arts and the Michigan Theater Company, leading both of those capital campaigns, and hands down, they're the most generous financial institution in this community.
With American One, we have they have naming rights in our community room in our building. So they have some really nice signage in our community room. So with that, they made a generous donation to our agency that will impact services for years to come. The other thing, we work together, we have a program called Connection Cafe, and some of the staff from American One have come out and presented at those sessions. They're like casual informational sessions for community members, and they've come out and provide education on fraud and ways to avoid scams and things like that.
We've been working together a lot on looking at the neighborhood, the east side area, trying to get development there. It's been a long time, long drawn out time. And the idea with American One buying up property and really doing some development there, that's going to start things. I think we're going to have some more developers coming, and that's going to do a lot of great things. East Michigan Ave is ready to really explode. It's a big opportunity. You have the hospital, you have the credit union, you have Eden, you have a lot of corporations there. And trying to bring in restaurants, things like that, I think that's going to be great for the community.
Working with American One was a little different than working with any other type of sponsor or supporter of an organization, because they were extremely involved.
American One's involvement in the community is far-reaching. Specifically, the work they've done with us at Lean Rocket Lab has had an incredible impact on the neighborhood in Jackson. We have worked with American One for the last handful of years. They came alongside of us and developed a fast track to lending program where they team up with our group at Lean Rocket Lab and the SBDC. And we actually work with people who are historically unlendable, and we help them go through a process to get small business lending.
We're real happy with how we've impacted a lot of just, single owners, family owners, taking those first steps to be business owners in the long term.
Always open-minded and willing to talk about, well, if there is a need, how can we make it happen here? How can we make that impact? And so hiring people, creating a department, making that happen. I mean, I don't know any other credit union that's done that.
The impact that American One has in the community has changed over the years based on what the communities needed and what communities we're serving, because we've expanded over the years. But we went from having a lot of in-house events, and we've kind of transitioned that to more partnerships and collaboration with community organizations. So we're not in competition, we're working together collaboratively, including our partnership with True Community Credit Union on the hospice golf outing. That's just been a tremendous hit.
That came about really from Martha and I having a shared story about our moms living in the hospice home and both passing away there, years apart from each other, but maybe we can be stronger together and we can show the community what it looks like for two competitors, you know, to come together for the betterment of the community that we both serve. And so I went back and I reached out to her and I said, hey, listen, you know, we've been leading this golf outing for several years and we're doing okay. We're raising $35,000, which is great, but I feel like we could double that if we did it together. And that was ultimately what started it. Now, I would say that then is where the community benefits. We now are raising $70,000 together, and that goes directly to people, families who can't afford the care, or can't afford the room and board for their family members that are living in hospice.
So we used to always say members come first, and then community, and then the team. What I found since we've changed our idea about that employees come first, is that it really means that members actually get better service. Because when your employees, when their needs are satisfied and they really enjoy the culture of the company, and you know they're getting a fair wage, and it's a place where they want to show up every day, that makes a better experience for the member.
People's expectations in the workplace evolve and change, and we have to keep up with that. And I do think that we put the employees first.
The culture here is very fast-paced, but we are also very heartwarming. We care about our coworkers on a personal and professional level, which really makes a difference, because you know you can come into work and be valued as an individual that you really are, and it shows. It shows in the day-to-day, every single day for me.
There is collaboration, there is great ideas. Those have to be funneled, of course, but highly engaging, and it keeps you on your feet.
So half of my life has been spent as an employee of American One Credit Union. And that, I wouldn't change for the world. So, and it's funny because a lot of people will say, how can you work for the same company for so long? It's not the same company. We continue to grow. It's exciting every day because we're constantly changing and we're agile, and it's fun. And when you have fun at work, you can't beat it.
So one of the things that I think about, and one of the things that weighs on me, is as we're celebrating 75 years, I feel like it's my responsibility to point us in the right direction for the next 75. And I don't mean I don't have a crystal ball, but in terms of maintaining and increasing the stability of this organization, that is my top priority.
There's a handful of companies in Jackson that have had such a far-reaching impact on the community, but American One is right there in terms of just thinking about all the ways that this type of investment in people, investment in real estate, investment in parks, investment in locations, and just the work that they do on the individual level through the credit union. I think the future's bright. I think Jackson has a lot to be optimistic about, but you could also say American One's a huge part of that bright future, and they've really led the way.
We're in the top 5% of credit unions between 500 million and 750 million in the United States of America. And you don't get that way just by, holly by golly, you get there by, determined, planned work and activities. You get a management team that puts in the effort. You have, it starts from the tellers to the boardroom. If everybody's rowing in the same direction, it shows. And if one or two aren't, it also shows. And I think that we're right where we need to be. We're going in the right direction.
American One is positioned to be a part of the Jackson community and beyond for many, many more years to come. So we'll have many more celebrations in the coming years as we continue to expand and get closer and closer to our target of serving over 100,000 members.